All right, for the folks on chain, let's get it started. We're talking about decentralized finance and the Ethereum ecosystem. So let's get it started. So over the past week, I've been struggling to find any interesting things to talk about. The Bitcoin ETF narrative is done. There's mostly been some discussions about SocialFi, especially with Farcaster, and the prices have been pretty much flat. If you take a look at pretty much any particular chain and price, we don't see much movement at all. Volatility is very, very low. There isn't a lot of buyers. I mean, sure, we can say that, hey, there's been a move up, but after the past rejections, it just feels like volatility is pretty much at a standstill here. I'm not particularly comfortable trading. I'm not a day trader, so I'm not particularly interested in investing in anything, but it really does feel like right now that everything is pretty much just moving sideways. I think the market, it tends to organize itself to annoy the most people, and with a lot of people who are long and a lot of people who are short, a lot of mentalities are around, hey, crypto is going to have a big fight coming up. There's also people that believe crypto is the greatest thing ever. So the thing that would piss off everyone is if we just remain flat, and it feels like it's going to be that way. For those who remember a lot of last year, for pretty much between January and August, there was almost no movement whatsoever in price. And for people that were harvesting, that were basically short volatility, they made a ton of money. So good luck to you out there if you're trying to trade this. I'm not interested in it. I'm just trying to focus on narratives, and right now I really don't see anything. As for stablecoin risk, we can talk about insurance and options on this. I like to use Y2K for this. At the moment, there isn't even a lot of people purchasing insurance at all. There's a lot of these new stablecoins out now, Curve USD, DAI, and most of them look like their DPEG percentage will probably get eaten up. They're currently standing at 11% in terms of risk. I think that's way too high. I'm surprised no one's actually eating this up in the market. You can go in here at any point, put in collateral. I mean, there are a couple of currencies whenever you look relative to other currencies, like MAI has been absolutely falling off a cliff in terms of its peg. An interesting one has been Pi USD. That typically has about 3/9 of price, but it looks like the market is pricing in a 21% chance of it depegging. Pi USD is PayPal's stablecoin, so kind of interesting that PayPal stablecoin isn't trading at par. But I mean, I guess right now in the market, there's some little gems out here for trying to, for if you're trying to insure these stablecoins, it seems like it might be a good idea. I don't think Pi USD should be trading at 21% risk this week to depeg, but people are basically buying this insurance and selling this insurance. Then again, this particular market just doesn't have a lot of volume and doesn't have a lot of depth. I mean, we're talking $100, $500, not super great, but if you're interested in trading that, there's plenty of opportunities there if you're interested in the insurance market. In the options market, I'm going to move over to here. Let's talk about this month. So we're basically seeing most of the volume this month is February. We've got the 9th is pretty high. I mean, not very much. It looks like calls market value from here just on Deribit is around 3 million, but you can look at one single venue and see how much volume is trading there. The big date that's coming up is March 29th. This month it is February 23rd, but it's just not a lot of volume. Not super great. And when you actually look at the percent or at the max paying price, what's interesting is we're pretty much at the max paying price. We kind of discussed the prices are pretty flat. It looks like these market makers and just traders in general, very large systematic traders, they're holding this price very, very close to the max paying price. There's almost no signal between the price currently and the max paying price. You can also see this with Ethereum, February 16th. So it's trading at 2,300. There's almost no chance that we kind of move off this. It just feels like there's no narrative right now that kind of generates any sort of price movement. I don't see any marginal buyers here. I don't see any marginal sellers here. Again, with the ETF, everyone thought that we'd get massive inflows into the cryptocurrency space, and the exact opposite happened. We just had more outflows. Even when you look at February 23rd, it's still looking like a 2,300 as the main options date, as the max paying price. So, you know, usually I kind of take the max paying price as a, what's the worst case scenario here? But usually when that distance is so close to the actual price, you can pretty much say that the market is very, very dead, and it's very much going to move sideways. Unless a major catalyst event happens that no one is pricing in, I just don't see any chance of it changing. Moving on to L2s. So as we said before, Manta Pacific is looking really, really good. It's already beaten out Base. Base recently had a lot of activity based on Farcaster. I'm not going to talk too much about Farcaster since I think SocialFi is interesting, but not exactly DeFi. But Manta Pacific is coming in right now at $1.3 billion. So if you got into that trade, remember I said everyone in crypto is generally ignoring of the Asian engineers in Asian markets. There is something to say about the fact that it's very, very new, and a lot of its risks are the risk analysis. It's just not ready. It's still basically in development, but it has garnered a lot of attention as basically a really nice version of Blast, because Blast locks your tokens and no one knows when they're going to unlock it. Doesn't seem like they're coming up with any interesting what's it called? Interesting reason for it to be unlocked. But at the moment, it is working. It's basically an L2. It's running. There's much to be said about it. Also, I wanted to talk about Polymarket. So Polymarket's volume is very much, it's pretty much growing. Lots of people are talking about Polymarket. I'm not going to get too into detail with presidential markets. I may actually talk about, I guess, the presidential market just a little bit. So far, there hasn't been any real changes, any new information. The only thing that is currently an issue is Nikki Haley and when she's going to drop out. So there is some pricing in right now of Nikki Haley. So shorting her is a 4%. She could drop out any moment now. It is a very, very interesting trade if you're interested in harvesting a 4%. But at the moment, it's not a trade I would do. And also, when you're looking at 4%, so that's 4% price at 3.8. The order book depth is not that high. So we're talking about 15,000 at 2.8. So would you really be interested in making, it's 2.8%, so 15,000. So we're looking at $100. So if you put in $15,000, you have to wait for Nikki Haley to drop out to make $100. Not exactly a trade I'm interested in, but that's really the only thing that is a surprise. Otherwise, you're basically looking at pricing in the chance that Donald Trump or Joe Biden get sick. Again, just not really a trade I'm interested in, since I don't think it's an actual full trade that could work. Sorry about my dog here. Let's move on. I did want to talk about SocialFi a little bit. So it looks like this tweet came out. Basically, crypto narratives changing quickly. Last August through September, there was a huge push for SocialFi and specifically Friendtech. So I've been a big fan of Friendtech, but it looks like it's just fallen off a cliff. Like if you look at this graph, you've got SocialFi. That was a huge chunk of all of the narrative, and it's basically dropped off. Right now, SocialFi has basically moved to Workcast and Farcaster. I've been trying it out. Looks like it's very interesting. There's no really any financial aspect to it, so it seems cool. I like it, but I'm kind of disappointed that Friendtech basically has fallen off a cliff. I'm waiting for their engineers to come back on, get back into it. Last but not least, let's talk about Ajna. Ajna has been growing like crazy. It's got $17 million in total market cap, and it's just moving. I really like Ajna, like it's like what it's giving, just in terms of volume. Basically, it's capturing a lot of total value, and this is also across different L2s. I don't particularly use Ajna, but I will likely start moving it into sort of my risk analysis and understanding more about yields in DeFi. And last but not least, I can probably talk a little bit about yield. The yield right now is very high. Like we're looking at for majors. So you can see Aave V3, 12% in Polygon. Optimism is 8%. So if you're harvesting these yields, just staying in cash, probably using something like Yearn, you're making money right now, which is great. I just don't think, again, it looks like volatility is very low. I mean, we're talking up and down movements all day. Whenever you're looking at that for a month or so, when you can harvest 12% APY over the course of the year, it really looks like crypto is very close to lending rates in terms of the returns. So when crypto returns are close to lending rates, that's usually a sign, again, that the market is just flat. It's just not moving. I really wouldn't get into holding a ton of money or leverage trading here. I'm not really into leverage trading. I just like looking at the yields and obviously the stable coins. I think an interesting one is Spark. Spark has been doing a lot, and it's very much a target in terms of a particular airdrop if you're interested in hunting. There's a lot to be said about MakerDAO and Spark. I'm not super interested in it. I don't think it's super, not particularly in my trade in terms of lending or any new DeFi protocol. I think as time goes on, I'll start talking more about the DeFi protocols that I care about. But for the most part, the market's just quiet. I mean, I've been struggling to even come out with thinking about what to do in a video because there isn't just much movement. Besides Farcaster, DeFi has basically remained pretty much flat. A lot of new projects are out, but they're basically reskins of old projects. So just stay safe out there. Don't get into too much leverage trading. Keep your cash ready. I think if there's another huge wave of new applications and new protocols, there'll be some good opportunities out there. Again, I discussed Manta, and I thought that was a really, really good one, just because I think the marketing team is there, and they're able to build. They've proven they're able to build compared to Blast, but at the moment, that trade is basically over. So if you're not harvesting that anymore and you don't have any tokens in that, then good luck trying that out if you want to do it. But besides that, that's it for me today, and hope you do well here. So stay safe, don't get destroyed, and be well.